Late May and early June can be one of the most amazing times of year to visit Rocky Mountain National Park. In fact, I think it is one of my absolute favorite of the entire year. But it can be a tricky time to visit. There are a few unique hazards to this time of year that most people don't think about. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 potential hazards that you could face and how to be prepared for them. John Muir once wrote that the snow is melting into music. Well, here in Rocky Mountain National Park in late May and early June, that music can be deafening. As the snow melts, it rushes down the mountains, turning small little creeks into powerful streams. At this time of year, it's safest to keep your distance from these streams, because every year someone gets swept downstream or trapped and needs rescue after trying to cross them. Now, there's several reasons why these streams are especially dangerous right now. Firstly, there's so much water coming down that it splashes onto rocks covered in lichen, which are normally dry. And when those lichen are wet, they become extremely slippery. So don't assume that you can hop from rock to rock over a rushing stream like you might be able to do at other times of year. Secondly, this water is freshly melted snow. If you fall in, the freezing temperatures will shock your body, causing you to lose your breath and your ability to react quickly. Thirdly, as it's pretty obvious, these streams are incredibly powerful. If you fall in, within seconds you'll be taken way downstream, thrown against rocks and fallen trees. And if you try and walk across it, it'll quickly pull your feet right out from under you. Now, this combination of slippery rocks, freezing water, and powerful currents can be deadly. So my advice is to stay away from these streams and never try to cross them without a bridge during this season. Also, keep children far away from the water. Mothers, we all love our mothers. Mothers are kind and compassionate, caring, gentle, and loving, and they create such a safe place for us to grow up. Yet there may be nothing in the world so fierce as a mother whose baby is threatened. At this time of year, the elk are giving birth, and it's delightful to see the baby elk learning to walk and getting introduced to this amazing world. Yet don't forget that each of these young ones has a mother nearby, even if you don't see her. At this time of year, those mothers are fierce protectors of their young. I would much rather face a bull elk in the middle of mating season than a protective mother who thinks her baby is under threat. Now, nearly every year we have people who end up in the hospital and occasionally who are even killed by these passionate mothers. Now, while these elk may be calm most of the year, during this time of year they seem to view almost everything around them as a potential threat. You may think they're not very dangerous because, unlike the bull elk, they don't have these big antlers, but remember, they weigh about 500 pounds and can easily knock you over. Then, once they have you on the ground, they'll trample you. You'll be very lucky if you escape. Now, there are 2 simple things you can do to stay safe. 1, if you see them, keep your distance and use binoculars to watch them from a safe distance. And 2, stay on high alert during May and early June when walking in the lower parts of the park and also when walking in or around Estes Park. You know, elk often hide themselves and their young in bushes, in high grass, or other areas during this time of year, so they're not very easily seen. But if you just stay on high alert, keep your eyes open, be aware of what's happening around you, you'll be just fine. Now, the third factor, which most people tend to dismiss or overlook, is actually snow. Now, before you fast forward this video thinking you know all about snow, did you know that morning snow and afternoon snow provide 2 very different hazards in the springtime? In fact, springtime snow can in some ways be more dangerous than it is during the winter. Now, the main thing that makes it different is that the snow changes its consistency throughout the day during the springtime, whereas in the winter it's quite stable. Now, if you go early in the morning, you're generally going to find the snow to be fairly hard and well packed, depending on how cold it was in the night, and the nights up high can get very cold. Some mornings you can get up and find that the snow has turned into a solid block of ice. not just as hard as ice, but as slippery as ice. And so in the mornings, you'll generally want to have microspikes and poles with you to help stabilize you on oftentimes hard and sometimes even very slippery, icy snow. And crossing steep snowfields is really dangerous early in the morning due to that ice. Whereas as the day heats up, it gets warmer and warmer until eventually you're breaking through the snow up to your knees, making it a horrible slog, making a lot of risk that you're actually going to twist your knee or your ankle as they get caught between rocks beneath the snow. That happens to a lot of people out here. As well, if you're breaking through the snow like that, you're making a miserable trail just behind you, which ruins it for everyone else. And then in the night, that will freeze again, creating an awful trail for the future. So I really recommend, if you're going to come out in the afternoons, that you bring snowshoes with you. Now, one of the dangers to the afternoon snow that most people never think about is that on steep slopes, it can avalanche. In fact, just a couple of years ago, we had an avalanche happen in the middle of June, killing someone up on one of our mountains. Now, when the snow gets soft, it becomes unstable, and eventually it'll get so soft, it'll just start running down the hill, and heavy, wet snow coming down the hill at high speed is not something you want to face. You will not stand against it. And so when it starts to get really wet and soppy, stay well away from those steep slopes. Now, here in Rocky Mountain National Park, in late May and early June, there are many steep snow slopes, but there are three that seem to get the most traffic and have the most accidents. The first of those is on the way up to Sky Pond. The area around Timberline Falls becomes a snowfield that can sometimes be quite icy and fairly dangerous. The second one is located between Lake Helene and on the way to Odessa Lake. The trail drops down, and just as the trail begins to drop, it goes around a corner and there's a huge snowfield with serious drops around it. And then the third snowfield that seems to have a lot of visitors during this time of year is right here on the way to Chasm Lake. Now, this snowfield may not look very steep, but it is. It's very steep. And we've had a lot of people slip and fall, end up in the hospital, and we've even had deaths here because that is a long ways to fall and slide into the rocks. Now, my suggestion is that you wait until these areas melt out in late June or in early July, and then they're safe to hike, and I'd highly recommend doing it. But if you're one of those who's just absolutely determined to do it during this season, then I recommend that you have very sturdy microspikes, not some of those flimsy ones, that you have hiking poles with you as well to maintain your balance. Then when you cross, go slowly, take your time, and if you feel at all uncomfortable by the height and the consequences of falling, there is no shame in turning around and coming back. Better to live to go another day. Now, the final thing to be aware of is found in these grassy meadows of the park. From March through mid-June, ticks are commonly found in these meadows, and they can transmit diseases such as Rocky Mountain spotted fever and tularemia. Now, if you go hiking in these meadows, then be sure to give yourself a thorough check when you get back from your hike. Now, the CDC recommends putting all of your clothes in a dryer on high temperature for about 10 minutes as soon as you get back from your hike, and that should take care of it. So check yourself and you'll be fine. Well, I really hope that all of this didn't discourage you from coming. This is an amazing time of year to visit. It's certainly one of the most beautiful times of the entire year, in my opinion. There's just an energy and excitement to be felt in the park. But it's important to know what things to be aware of at this time of year. Once we hit mid-June, then all of this changes and a brand new set of challenges presents itself. Being armed with the right information will hopefully help you to have a safe and wonderful visit to this amazing place. Well, I sure appreciate all of you watching. I hope you're finding these videos to be helpful. If so, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment too. I'd love to hear from you. And as you may have noticed, I put a few products linked to this video. If you're interested in those, great, check them out. And anyone who orders, I send a personal video to thank you for your purchase. Well, thanks so much. I hope to see you out on the trail. To help you prepare for your visit to Rocky Mountain National Park, visit my website, rockymountainnationalpark.com. For hiking guides, calendars, coffee table books, and more, visit rockytrailpress.com. And when you arrive, be sure and stop by my gallery in downtown Estes Park. It's called Images of RMNP.